Most recently, I was at Franciscan Montessori Earth School, and before that, I spent some time in public schools. I think having taught middle school for a period of time has helped me see high schoolers a little differently. When I first began teaching high school students about 20 years ago, I think I saw them as just sort of small adults, which isn't really true. Most people in high school are still developing, still learning how to be an independent person. I like to think I value the individual in my rooms. I try not to speak to the whole class as though they were all one person, and that's why I prefer a student-centered approach, and that I think people learn by doing best, because each person comes to class with a different skill set, a different readiness, and that can be on a general level or just a day-to-day basis, just how you're feeling that day. So it's very much a side-by-side situation. Students are very active in their learning. There isn't a lot of direct instruction. I would say I was pretty heavily influenced by my years in a Montessori school. They're very student-centered. I developed a lot of tools and approaches in that kind of environment because the kids were used to that kind of way of working. It's definitely a two-way street. Teaching and learning go hand in hand. You might be surprised to think about math and foreign language kind of on a similar footing, but they are both sort of skills, or can be a skills-based curriculum, both of them, but you can also really look at applications. So I have a lot of conversations with Madame Barker about teaching approaches and how to apply the skills you learn in math or in French and do an application to something more real, more connected to the real world. I really believe that students learn by doing, so a lot of the time spent in my classes is students working out whiteboards with my support, and I've seen that sort of spread throughout the school, so that's kind of exciting. People sort of see the benefit of seeing their thinking and being able to show their thinking to other people, and you can change it readily, you can use different colors. It just has become a tool some students have really grabbed onto.
We have these review days that have all over the whiteboards in her classroom. I find those most helpful because they're just random problems that are directed towards our text. It really aligned with my already study habits. I think that in previous classes, I think it was started on having just a study guide. In Miss John's class, there isn't really necessarily a study guide that's a document, right? It's more about having journals and writing other things, and I think that was really helpful because it's kind of active recall.
It's very problem first in stats and AP stats, so it's kind of the flip of what you might see in a more traditional math situation where it's let's do a bunch of skills and then apply it and do some stories. It's story first, so it's let's build the tools to address a real question, and it's often sort of real world data. I do have some structured notes for students, but again, I don't guide them through the whole thing. Typically, I'll get as little as I can get away with, to be very frank. I might introduce something new, something hopefully that's connected to something they've seen before. So I might give a little bit of background information, maybe do one problem, and then it's kids at whiteboards in their groups. You guys are still kids, you're big kids, but you're kids, and everyone needs second chances and third chances, and some coaching and sort of seeing that side of it. That's been a change for me over the arc of my career. So, I'm someone who I might use the same materials from year to year, but it never quite looks the same. I'm always editing and adding to based on what I observe with the students. So if I see that they needed something a little different, then there's an adjustment I make. So I don't know, the students are the best teachers for the teacher.